Dear Facebook, we all know the whole rebrand thing has been a catastrophe from start to finish. But we at the Harry Gold Show Creative Design Agency have all sorts of ideas for how to effectively rehabilitate your company's abysmal image. We're very much looking forward to working with you.
You're welcome, Mark.
Coming to you from beautiful downtown Fortitude Valley, it's the Harry Gold Show, with your host, Harry Gold.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the program. Now, the tech world has just seen its most important rebrand in years. That's right, Norton Antivirus has a new logo. Oh, and one of the world's most valuable companies got a facelift too. You may have noticed that despite the headlines, Facebook is still the exact same dumpster fire as always. What Zuck and the media made clear as mud is that the social media site /app/soul vampire is remaining unaltered. It's the identically named parent company, which also owns WhatsApp, Instagram, and all of your deepest, darkest secrets, that's changing its look.
Facebook isn't rebranding, it's Facebook that's rebranding. What don't you mortals understand?
In fact, it's already changed. Meet Meta, because apparently they thought acting like the evil megacorporation from a dystopian sci-fi wasn't quite enough. They ought to sound like one as well. The new logo is an infinity symbol, representing the scope of their vision for the future, particularly as it pertains to money and power over your life.
Hello again, Facebook. This is THGSCDA. First things first, let's admit it. Nobody actually likes you. Even people that use Facebook think it's trash. But don't worry, rebranding is always the solution. With the right fresh coat of paint, no one will even notice you haven't fixed a damn thing. For part one of our presentation, we propose that a baffling new name might be a more drastic change than necessary. So here are some suggestions for new angles on the old brand. Perhaps sticking with a familiar name will help encourage people to swallow the Facebook-colored pill and embrace Mark's blandly dystopian vision for the future. Alternatively, the youth demographic has already completely abandoned you, so we could rebrand to cater to the aging user base keeping the platform afloat. Normal people only use you for Messenger, otherwise Facebook is basically a dying platform, so we could streamline down to make that the brand's focal point. We're in the chat. In fact, seeing as Messenger is your only worthwhile service, we could just hype the rest of Facebook as Messenger Plus, Messenger Premium, Messenger Prime. Now, recognition is all important when it comes to branding, so we recommend capitalizing on the fame of everyone's favorite animatronic man, your CEO, Mark Zuckerberg. It could be well worth putting Mark at the center of Facebook's iconography, or perhaps better yet, we could rename to Zuckerbook. Streamlining from there, we could simply go with Zuck. The users would be referred to as Zuckers. Due to its certain popularity and inevitable skyrocketing user base, we will adopt the slogan, "There's a Zucker born every minute." Perhaps we could also shift strategy to better incorporate Mark's interests and needs. Seeing as he has a proclivity for acquisition and absorption, perhaps we could symbolize this synergetic like-mindedness with a new name, Concur. Alternatively, to accommodate Mark and people like him, we would propose Hot Rock, the virtual gathering place for reptiles of all kinds. Or we could optimize for the other half of Mark's lineage by reforming as a social network for robots. Admittedly, the Facebook brand might just have too much baggage at this point. The problem with jettisoning all that is nobody actually gives a flying fig about Meta either. In Australia, some people were upset that it looks like the logo for their third-rate national broadcaster. But fortunately for Mark, nobody cares about Australia.
The name Meta, for anyone wondering, is derived from Marky Z's weird obsession with the metaverse, Facebook's mediocre VR chat ripoff that they desperately want you to believe is an original, groundbreaking idea. That name rings a bell though. Where have I heard it before?
Metaverse?
Metaverse
I
is
love this.
interesting.
Metaverse Enterprise Solutions.
Oh yeah, it's the shady corporation responsible for all the bad stuff in Doki Doki Literature Club.
Just Zuckerberg. Just Zuckerberg. Just Zuckerberg. In other words, we need to come at this from a different direction. Meta sounds like its CEO has trapdoors leading to shark tanks in his secret base. What we need is something a little less foreboding. Big things are happening at Facebook. Our brand is evolving to better exemplify what we have always strived to be. A social network where the sky's the limit. Skynet. As we mentioned before, everyone knows the only people still actually using Facebook are borderline geriatrics, so perhaps we should try to make a feature of it. We could focus on that demographic's favorite pastimes, like posting weird, unfunny Baby Yoda memes despite having never watched The Mandalorian, or sharing those bizarre images of the Minions where the text has absolutely nothing to do with the Minions. More broadly, it might be more effective to simply show in our new brand design that these are the people our brand values most. Senior. Of course, our second most important demographic is unemployed and disgruntled Gen Ys, who like Facebook because it doesn't put the same character limit on their rants about wage slaves as Twitter does. So perhaps we should rebuild with this primary function in mind. After all, it's an ideal place for people who are lonely and socially awkward to scream into the void, so it might be beneficial to market ourselves that way. The whole point of a rebrand, of course, is to create a positive association with your company. It's worth examining what your platform does well, and considering making that the focus of your new image. For instance, Facebook is the premier destination for meeting sexy single Russian bots. Hobbies are long walks on the beach, sending random people friend requests, and uploading a single image of some model and nothing else ever. It's also an excellent place for people who want to avoid human interaction in favor of being inundated with sponsored posts. More of Facebook's popular functions include getting mass invited to like pages about things you couldn't care less about by people you barely know, and getting to see the things your friends are doing that you wish you were doing, especially seeing pictures of an event to which all of your friends went to, but to which you were mysteriously never invited. Your flagship feature is the wall, so that might be worth considering as a focus, especially as it's also what you've committed to building between as many people as possible. Additionally, there's that thing you do where everyone feels pressured to put a dumb filter over their face in support of some cause, and nobody actually donates or volunteers or does anything that could be considered actually helping. They just get to feel good about themselves for being lazy conformists. Another popular feature worth focusing on is Facebook Marketplace and its renowned reliability. Of course, we all know the real primary function of Facebook is harvesting people's information and selling it. That feeling of regret and despair that seeps into one's soul when you scroll through the wall for more than 2 seconds is merely a happy accident. Moreover, Facebook is also a semi-popular destination for meme pages of highly unreliable quality, and is well regarded as one of the best places to find misinformation on the internet. On that note, in no small part thanks to organizations like yours, the world is living in 2 parallel twilight zones. 2 halves of the country, perhaps even the planet, can look at the exact same thing and see something completely different. So we're going to do what all algorithm-based systems do best: exacerbate societal division and bring everyone's next civil war just that little bit closer. We've found that some people believe that Facebook has been too censorious and overstepped its bounds as an alleged virtual public square, while others believe just as strongly that Facebook has not done enough to stem the flow of dangerous opinions and misinformation. So we've had the groundbreaking idea of doing 2 parallel rebrands. Because you already know literally everything about your users, your algorithm will select the rebranded version of your service that aligns with their preferences and biases. For one side, we have a platform that stands strongly for freedom of expression, thusly doing what that camp believes is preserving the backbone of our democracy. And for the other, a service dedicated to standing up for the truth, and therefore, according to that side, preserving the backbone of our democracy. And the best part is, just like any rebrand, the changes are skin deep. Both sides will actually be getting the exact same social media platform, while being absolutely certain they're having the opposite experience. We are particularly excited for this 2-pronged initiative, which we have dubbed Project Laurel. Thanks for listening to our presentation. We hope you like the options we've provided, but should you find them lacking mark, we simply ask you to remember this: we're not the ones who just dropped a mountain of cash on turning ourselves into a ridiculous blue pretzel.
Come on, flip the pretzel, Morty. You're not gonna regret it. The payoff's huge. I turned myself into a pretzel, Morty. I'm Pretzel Mark!
Let's play a game. I'll draw someone famous, and the first 3 people to guess who it is in the comments get a shout out when I tell you the answer in the next episode. If you've been following this channel religiously, you might have guessed Bill Maher last time. The Bubonic J certainly wasn't sick of winning, taking first place. Not quite top of the heap was Heaps Good Productions in second. and Max Steinbeasley maxed out our capacity, bringing home third. Well done everyone, thanks for playing. Today's subject has a rather interesting set of features. Whoever stuck their nose on appears to have pressed a little too hard, and their facial features have given way in much the same manner as a rubber chew toy would. The most notable feature on this person is probably their unbelievably broad, squashed-looking pudding head, on which they prefer to wear their face a couple of sizes too small and bunched up in the middle. All this atop a pencil neck provides a silhouette that reminds one of flying bicycles and phoning home, or perhaps alternatively a supermarket cheese sample adorning a toothpick. Now who could this be? If you know who that was, let us know in the comments. And hey, the bell ringers are out, so why not join them? Subscribe and ring our bell for a gift that keeps on giving. But this has been the Harry Gold Show, so until next time, stay safe, and God bless.